Hey YouTube, it's me, Rowena, checking in. Today is Wednesday, August the 14th, 2013. It's about 8:30 p.m. here in North Hollywood, California. I did not make a Wednesday weekly video last week for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to just come online and ramble just for the sake of rambling. And two, I've just really been super busy. I had a big project at work, and it culminated on Friday, and I've just been kind of like, my birthday was on Monday that just passed, and by the grace of God, I made it to my 51st birthday. A couple of my friends, they'll crack jokes and say, wow, it's 51, or, we're getting older, or we're getting this, or we're getting that, and that's, to me, the only option to not getting older is not being here. So bring on the birthdays. However, I want to be healthy. I don't want to be old and unhealthy. So having said that, it's kind of a segue into my topic for tonight. And I want to talk a little bit about some thoughts I've been having and some insight that I've gained. And I heard someone say something similar to this, and it triggered a whole or not downfall, but an outpouring of thoughts from me. And it's about, my weight and my perception of this massive amount of weight that I've put on in the last couple of years and how I got here. And it's a medical issue, not a moral issue. And that's kind of, my topic, for lack of a better term, for tonight. Um, I didn't realize until I heard another woman who has already gone through the surgery, and she's about 5 years post-op, and she was putting her, I believe she said that was her last video on YouTube, you know, for those of us that were going to come after her. She documented her whole journey. So even though she doesn't come online anymore, I was able to go back and watch her progression and watch all of her videos up till her 5-year post-op video. And she said that very thing, that it's a medical issue. She didn't compare it to a moral issue, but when she said that, it really stuck with me because I thought, it is a medical issue. And somehow, in my very negative self-talk and in my lack of compassion for me, which I discussed in my last video, it's always been a moral issue. My weight has been about me not being good enough, strong enough, not having enough willpower, not having enough self-discipline. Anything negative or any negative connotation that you can attach to one losing control over their weight or being, quote unquote, morbidly obese. I'll never forget when the doctor said to me, you're morbidly obese. It's like, well, what does that mean? Morbid, I equate that term to death and all things death. And then, of course, obese is just like the ultimate word for being heavy set, fat, big boned, and all the other nice terms that, one can use. I think that coming to the realization and the level of acceptance that my issue is a medical issue, and I do need medical help to overcome it, to get a handle on it, and to get myself back on track. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me a weak person any more than someone who has cracked their hip, or their hip joint has just worn out over the years and they need to have a hip replacement. Is that a person a bad person because they sought medical assistance with their physical problem that is a medical problem. You know, a person with arthritis or any other medical condition. I mean, there's, obviously a plethora of medical conditions we can name off, but, the majority of medical conditions that can be remedied through, uh, through a doctor or surgeon, no one would consider that person a less of a person, or that somehow they took the easy way out because they went and had a hip replacement. They can't walk properly. They're in a lot of physical discomfort. It's interfering with their life. It's progressively getting worse. It's causing other physical problems because maybe their gait is off, or whatever other complications can arise from having a hip, say, for example, that's not working properly. And I'm sure that there are, one thing leads to another because our whole body's connected. I mean, it would be absurd for them or anyone to consider their reaching out for medical help as some form of weakness or an easy way out. There's nothing easy about making this decision to have gastric sleeve surgery. Even though out of all the surgeries, I feel like it's the best one for me. It's obviously, lap band is off the table completely. And the full gastric bypass is not, that's kind of overkill for me. So I feel really blessed to be having this decision on my plate to be made at a time where gastric sleeve is an option. And I feel really fortunate and blessed that Kaiser is going to pay for it. And the reason they're going to pay for it is because of all the other health problems I have as a result of my weight, which just reinforces the fact that it's a medical issue and not a moral issue. This has nothing to do with my morality or me as a human being on the inside, who I am, my essence. It's strictly a physiological, metabolical, situation, and it needs to be addressed accordingly. Excuse me, I'm a little tired, and I'm talking to you, but I'm watching the clock because I don't want to go over 10 minutes. I don't like to just go on and on and on, even though I could. So those are just kind of like, that's the line of thinking I've been on in the last couple of days, after I finished my project at work and I was relaxing over the weekend, and I went through my birthday day, and I thought, it's really, our culture seems to be so focused on a person's self-worth and their value being tied up in their physical appearance that the two have become so enmeshed that somehow if there's something wrong with your physical appearance that's not, a quote-unquote handicap. So, we feel empathy for people in wheelchairs. We feel empathy for people that are blind, that walk with a blind stick or on a cane somehow or something like that. But if a person's, morbidly obese and this person's drowning inside this body and they seek medical attention or medical help or surgery as an option to get out of that horrible condition, somehow a lot of people would say, oh, well, that's the easy way out. You're weak. There's nothing easy about going through major surgery. There's nothing easy about a complete 100% permanent, irreversible life change and cutting out half your stomach. It's not easy to make the decision, and I'm sure when I get to the point where I've had the surgery, I'll find out it's not so easy, but let me say it's worth it. And I haven't even got there yet, and I already know it's going to be worth it. And I'm thankful to have that opportunity and that option. And I hope that somehow this video triggers some thoughts for whoever watches it, and maybe can help you if you're going through that feeling of, feeling like somehow you're a weakling for choosing surgery as an option. Don't feel that way. It takes a lot of courage to face those realities and to do what needs to be done. So with that thought, have a blessed week. I'll try my best to check in next week. I should be finishing my options class at Kaiser, and then I'm going to meet with the surgeon, and hopefully I'll get a date soon. So God bless and take care. Good night.